What up, everybody? I'm here with my first ever solo episode of Sawyer Saloon. The date is 1/22/24. Had a pretty exciting weekend. Kind of wanted to get into some things that I saw. I went to Austin this past weekend. I did a comedy show at an anime convention, which means I saw a lot of nerds, a lot of people really dedicated to what they're into. They were having fun. It looked like they had some of the craziest exhibits I've ever seen. Back in college, I started my own company and I would travel around. It's called Thicket, and I would go to like different fairs and festivals. And so I know the life of like a carny, where you travel around and you sell your merch. But this is some of the craziest merch that I've ever seen. Like they had fake anime swords from any type of anime that you could think of. And honestly, the only difference between that booth and the regular festivals I would go to in like Louisiana and Texas is that the swords at those places were real. Uh, they weren't just fake anime ones. They were actual, samurai swords that you could buy. Just really cheap Chinese stuff, all kind of fake, like the little switchblade knives with like the Joker face on it. That's that ha ha ha. Shit like that. That people in Gaydon, Louisiana would eat up and buy. Um, so that was pretty cool. I did go. I remember I went to this booth and it was like some G Fuel type shit. It was called GG, basically like pre-workout, but for nerds, people who play Valorant, that kind of thing. And I walked up to the table and they had this girl. She's a redheaded girl, looked like she was dressed up as the redheaded girl from One Piece. And I gotta be honest, she was probably the hottest girl there. And I mean, she was just wearing like a bathing suit. And I walk up and I'm like, I'd been wanting to check out some of the stuff because one of the flavors they had, it was a picture of Joe Biden, or Joe Byron, as my great great aunt would call him. It was a picture of Joe Byron, and Joe had a white cup filled with some purple liquid, and the flavor was lean. So I'm only assuming that it tasted like NyQuil with vodka. What kind of alcohol goes into lean? I don't know. I think maybe like some vodka or something. Maybe a little, probably not tequila, but I feel like vodka would be, a good way to go with it. But they say promethazine and lean. I'm just going through Lil Wayne lyrics right now. I have no fucking clue. Uh, Never tried lean before. Do it quite a lot when I'm standing, but that's about it. Uh, so, anyways, yeah. So I walk up, and she's wearing just this bikini, and I can't help it. I look directly at her tits, directly at them. And as she's talking, I'm looking down, I'm looking for the lean, and then I look up and I just see them, and they're just staring at me. And she goes, "What are you looking at?" And I go, "Definitely this peach flavor right here." So I ended up buying something that I didn't even want just to get out of an awkward situation. Felt like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when he's like, "Oh, it's a bit nippy in here." That's what it felt like. But that was like towards the beginning of the convention when I was just walking around, and then we ended up doing this show for over 550 people in the audience. So that was a lot of fun. Really good crowd. Shout out to my boy Roderick McDaniels for putting that on. Guy's an absolute goat. He runs a bunch of different things at the anime convention, different panels, and at different anime conventions as well. And he managed to get this comedy show wrangled up, and it was just, the crowd there was one of the most responsive that I've ever had. Uh, it was cool because like everybody came dressed up still as their characters. There was a guy dressed up as Chef from South Park. That was fun. So a lot of cool people just dressed up like they put so much attention to detail into these costumes. Like they got to be spending thousands of dollars on this stuff because it's all flexible and it's all because they're like doing like I saw someone break dance in their costume and it was like full on metal, like knight armor suit that they had on. So they spend a lot of money and dedication into this stuff. They take it seriously. So props to them, for that dedication. Uh, but yeah, they were just nerds. And they really they enjoyed my material. I have this joke where I joke about Irish people, and you have to know like the context is like the Irish and the English have never really gotten along. And a lot of that's because of the Protestant Reformation. King Henry VIII wanting to separate from the Catholic Church. That way he could divorce his wife. One of eight. John and Kate plus eight. That thing. That's what he did with his. Actually, he was just King Henry VIII. I don't know how many wives he had. He had a lot. Okay, he had enough wives that would make Joseph Smith jealous. Let's just say that. Let's put that out there. So, anyways, yeah, a lot of religious and a lot of wars and stuff fought, back then over the separation between them. But yeah, so the anime crowd gave me one of the best pops that I've ever had for that joke. A lot of them got it. It was awesome. Once again, shout out to Roderick. I went up there with my boy Tyler Arsenault from Lafayette. Dude's an absolute killer, man. He had them laughing nonstop. We also both did a couple other spots while we were out there. So, we spent the weekend together. First time I've had pancakes from Denny's and IHOP in the same weekend. So my plumbing's not surviving here at the house right now. Also, I think I might have caught type 2 diabetes. So now me and Nick Jonas finally have something in common. Let's see, what else happened? Anime convention was great. I got to see my buddy, Cody. It's been a long time since I've seen Cody. He comes out with Roderick. They come out, they do comedy shows. They came and did Lake Charles, absolutely crushed. Did the Library Riot show. That was fun. I also went and did this place called East Austin Comedy Club. That place was fantastic. It's in like a smaller house, basically. And you stand on the stage, and then it's almost like they took just the front part of a big church where it's just like you have your small stage, which is a little bit bigger than this table that I'm using right here. And then they've got like 20 seats on this side, 20 seats on that side, and then 20 seats on this side. And it's the most intimate show that I've ever done, which was fantastic. I loved that part of it. It was very intimate. You can't see shit in there. It's basically blacked out. And I could see like the people on the left and right of me, but that's what you want. Like when you're doing stand up, if you're doing crowd work and stuff, that's different. I'm not the biggest crowd worker. I'm not there yet. But it creates a very intimate experience. And the place has like a fire pit in the back. And it reminded me of being in a frat house again. Which, we didn't, where I'm from, I went to college, I was in a fraternity. We didn't have a frat house, but we had houses that each people like rented. And like every year it was a new house. And that was like the party spot, the location. And that kind of hang, but just in like a backyard with a fire pit, all the comics standing around, that reminded me of going back to that time period and made me feel comfortable and a bit nostalgic too. So that was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. I got put on some shows by my boy Spencer and Nat over there at East Austin Comedy Club. Just fucking stellar guys. Loved going out there. Let's see what else happened. Drinking a little black tea. Honest to God, I'm not the biggest fan of just straight up coffee. I think coffee, it just leaves like a bad taste in your mouth, and it makes me kind of jittery. It's also fucking disgusting. So that's another reason, why I don't drink it. But some black tea, maybe a little bit of honey if you're feeling a little sweet that day. It's just a nice pick-me-up, and it's super healthy for you